Listen closely. Some women don't need to confess an affair because their body already did it for them. They don't scream, they don't cry, they don't ask for forgiveness. They just come home with a different fire burned out, with a hidden scent, with another soul woven into theirs. And you, if you're not truly awake, you think everything's fine, just a bad day. She's acting strange. No, she's not acting strange. She just gave herself to someone else. And you know it. You just don't want to see it yet. Female psychology doesn't speak. It acts. It leaves subtle traces only a man with real awareness can read. Today, I'm going to reveal those signs to you, the 5 clearest ones, the 5 most hidden. And the last one will be the most brutal. I'm Celia. I'm not here to sugarcoat betrayal. I'm here to open your eyes. And if you dare to look, everything will change. Has it ever happened to you? You came home, looked her in the eyes, and felt like something was off. Everything looked the same, but felt different. Her body was there, but her soul seemed to have taken a different path. She didn't yell, didn't argue, didn't pull away physically. But there was something louder than silence, a void, a cold echo in the middle of the everyday. That's the first sign, and it's brutal if you know how to read it. The exaggerated silence after love. And I won't sugarcoat it. That silence isn't peace. It's guilt. It's disconnection dressed up as calm. When a woman has been with someone else, she often doesn't come off as aggressive or distant. She comes off as calm, too calm, as if there's nothing left to defend, as if the battle already happened, and you missed it. Her body language changes. She no longer looks for conversation, but doesn't avoid it either. She no longer has opinions on things you used to argue about. She doesn't react, not because she's matured, but because emotionally, she's already gone. Think about this. An animal, after a hunt, goes silent. Not because it's afraid, but because it's full. That woman now sitting across from you, nodding without interest, telling you everything's fine, with an empty smile. She's already fed a different kind of hunger, the kind you used to awaken. And if you're not alert, you'll mistake that silence for stability, for a reflective phase. No, it's emotional disconnection. It's her unconscious attempt not to betray herself with words, because if she talks too much, she's afraid the truth might slip. I've heard dozens of women say the same thing. When I was with my husband after being with someone else, all I wanted was silence. Not out of respect, not for mental clarity, out of shame, out of inner conflict, that tension between desire and duty. And that's where silence becomes the greatest traitor, because it doesn't scream, but it wounds. It doesn't speak, but it confesses. And you, if you don't know how to read it, you'll fall into the trap of comforting her, thinking she's tired, that she needs space, that it's stress. No, it's her way of coping with the double life, with what's already happened. And if you sit there waiting for her to eventually say it, you've already lost, because feminine silence isn't a bridge. It's a wall, one that only a man with real presence can break through. That silence we talked about earlier, that emptiness that settles in without a word, isn't just a one-time thing, it's only the first layer. Because what comes next isn't clearer, it's crueler. We've reached the second key point in this video, unexplained physical rejection. It's not that she doesn't love you anymore, it's not confusion, it's that another man touched a place in her that you no longer reach. And even if she doesn't say it, she feels it in every touch, every attempt you make to get close. She doesn't think it through, but her body speaks. She avoids you. She gently pulls away, sometimes with tenderness, sometimes with tiredness. But the result is always the same. The desire is gone, and you have no idea why. Female psychology doesn't work like a man's. A man can easily separate body and emotion. A woman can't. If her soul gave itself to someone else, even for a moment, her body begins to deny you. Not because she hates you, not because she's angry, but because she can no longer connect with you without betraying herself. And then the act begins. She tells you she's tired, that she has a headache, that she's not feeling well. But a week ago, that wasn't the case. And without realizing it, you start to doubt yourself. You think maybe you did something wrong, that maybe you weren't tender enough, that you didn't touch her the right way. But it's not that. It's that you're no longer the man her body craves. Stoicism isn't about toughening up. It's about seeing reality for what it is, without the mask. And this is the reality. When a woman rejects your touch without any clear reason, when she avoids your hands with soft excuses, it's often because those same places were touched by someone else, because that energy, that intensity, that fire she once had with you, now got reignited somewhere else. Not always physically, sometimes emotionally, but just as powerful. And you, if you're not grounded, you'll break, because you don't understand, because you still love her, because she's right there, so close, so yours, and yet so far away. This kind of rejection doesn't scream, it lingers. You can feel it in the air. You hold her, and her body doesn't respond. You touch her, and it doesn't flow. You make love to her, and you feel she's there, but not really, because she's remembering someone else, because she's comparing, because she's tangled in her guilt and her desire. And without any proof, you fall into doubt, into guilt, into self-blame. But that's the trap, because the real pain doesn't come from betrayal, it comes from not understanding it. And that's why you're here today, to stop begging for connection, to stop asking why she doesn't want you anymore, and to start recognizing that when a woman rejects you without reason, it's often because someone else has taken the place you once held, even if it was just for a night, even if it was only in her mind. A high-value man doesn't let that destroy him. He observes, he confirms, and he acts, because there's no greater humiliation than continuing to touch a woman who no longer feels you, not because she doesn't know how to love, but because she's already doing it somewhere else. This whole game of silences and rejections isn't random. It follows a hidden logic that very few men know how to detect. Because when a woman has given herself to another, her emotional instinct isn't to disappear, it's to compensate. And this is where many fall into the most dangerous trap. We've reached the third point of this video, and this is where everything starts to shift, if you're paying attention, the sudden excess of sweetness. Has it happened to you? Right after a period of distance, a solo outing, or a trip where you weren't around, she comes back more affectionate than ever. She asks how you slept. She makes your favorite meal. She rubs your neck like she hasn't in years. And you, tired of conflict, starved for affection, you believe it. You give in. You think she's back. That she had a change of heart. That routine finally broke. But no, she's not back. She's trying to justify herself. She's washing her conscience with sweetness. And if you're not grounded, you'll fall into that false reconciliation. Female psychology runs on emotional balance. And when she feels she's broken that balance, because she desired someone else, because she crossed a line, she tries to restore it. Not for you, for herself, because she can't live with the contradiction. So she touches you not to betray. She smiles at you to avoid the weight of guilt. And you, instead of questioning it, feel grateful. Instead of observing, you surrender. But forced tenderness has a different taste. The gesture is perfect, but soulless. Because it doesn't come from desire. It comes from fear, fear of being found out. And here's where strategy comes in. Simple, but powerful. When she suddenly turns overly sweet without reason, don't mirror it. Observe. Stay quiet. Be kind, but not overly warm. Don't rush to return the gesture. Don't fall into the emotional rhythm she's trying to set. Because if you respond with the same affection, she exhales. She believes she's succeeded, made you feel loved, so she doesn't have to carry the weight of betrayal. But if you stay steady, fully present, and don't hand out automatic affection, she gets unsettled. She starts to worry, because she's no longer in control of the script. And that's when the truth begins to show. Picture it like this. A grounded man is like a mirror with no filters. He reflects what's there, not what the other wants to see. And if you become that mirror, if you resist the pull of false tenderness, you'll see past the gesture. You'll notice the eyes that avoid yours, the touch that doesn't connect, the smile that doesn't light up. And there, without confrontation, without yelling, without drama, you'll know. You'll know that affection isn't love. It's guilt in disguise. And you, as a man, have the right not to receive it, not to be convinced by it. Because respect begins when you stop accepting crumbs, even when they're wrapped in tenderness. Before we go on, if this is shifting your perspective, hit that like button and subscribe. And I want to know, what country are you watching from? Drop a single phrase in the comments that defines your awakening today. I won't be fooled, because there are still 2 deep signs left, and the last one is the hardest of them all, one you'll never be able to ignore again once you hear it. That sudden sweetness we just exposed, it's only a curtain, an emotional distraction. But when a woman senses that strategy didn't fully work, that you're still picking up on something off, she enters cleanup mode. Not emotional, not verbal, physical. And this is where many men make a brutal mistake. They think it's hygiene, that it's routine, that it's just part of her habits. It's not. We've reached the 4th point of this video, and it's called the never-ending shower after going out alone. Maybe you don't notice it at first. She gets home from a night out with friends, an afternoon of shopping, or a visit to her mother, and goes straight to the bathroom. No warm greeting, no small talk. She doesn't change in the bedroom. She heads straight to the bathroom, closes the door, and stays there longer than usual. She tells you she's tired, that she wants to unwind, that she needs a shower to relax. And you, out of respect, habit, or naivety, don't ask. Don't suspect. You repeat the same mental phrase most men use to numb themselves. It's just a shower. But it's not. It's the most symbolic act of her guilt. Not always because she slept with another man. Sometimes just because she allowed a touch, a glance, a moment of excitement she can't carry home with her. Because once her body has been emotionally or physically touched by someone else, it becomes a scene of contradiction. And the shower becomes her ritual of purification, not spiritual, sensory. She wants to wash away what her skin still remembers, the scent of another, the dampness of another, the adrenaline, the trembling. And in that long shower, she's not just cleaning herself, she's reinventing herself, masking herself, so that you, the man still there, won't sense the difference. The most common mistake here is rationalization, telling yourself she's always been clean. She always showers after going out. And that's the poison. Because when a routine starts to carry a hidden motive, it stops being innocent. It becomes a calculated act. And when you fail to see it, you become complicit in your own deception. You think respecting her means not doubting, that trusting means not asking. But trust isn't about closing your eyes. It's about looking, clearly, firmly, with that stoic wisdom that doesn't need evidence to feel the truth. Do you know the most devastating consequence of ignoring this sign? That when you finally find out everything, it'll feel like a sudden betrayal, like something you never saw coming. And that hurts more, because it's not just the betrayal, it's the realization that the signs were there, and you ignored them. It's replaying every long shower, every closed door, every unusual scent, every towel that seemed used too early, and realizing it wasn't paranoia. It was your instinct speaking to you, but you silenced it. A man who wants to regain his respect, his power, his clarity, can no longer afford to confuse hygiene with avoidance. Because when a woman showers to erase what she experienced with someone else, she's not cleaning her body, she's hiding her story. And if you don't know how to read that, you're no longer her partner. You're the blind spectator in a movie where she's already cast someone else as the lead. Everything I've shown you so far, the silence, the rejection, the false sweetness, the never-ending shower, has been building up to this final emotional shift. And it may be the hardest one to face, because there are no fights, no breakups, no dramatic scenes, just a shadow that settles over your home, your bed, your life. We've reached the 5th and final point of this video, and it's called emotional withdrawal in the days that follow. It's the saddest scenario, and the most revealing, because it's not chaos that tells you something's changed. It's the calm, that fake calm, that complete absence of emotion. She's still there. She serves you dinner. She listens when you talk. She gives you a mechanical kiss before bed. But you're no longer with a woman. You're with a ghost, one that moves, breathes, even smiles, but no longer resonates with you. And the worst part is that indifference, that emotional numbness, isn't due to exhaustion. It's the result of having poured all her energy into another man, into another connection, into another story. A woman can fake affection. She can act out of convenience, out of habit, even out of pity. But she can't fake emotional enthusiasm. And if you're not fully present, if you lack the clarity to look beyond the gestures, you'll become something she tolerates, but doesn't choose. Because the greatest mistake a betrayed man makes isn't not knowing the truth. It's having felt all of this before and doing nothing. The real problem isn't that she's distant. It's that you start to settle for that distance, that you normalize it, that you say, every couple goes through this. No, this isn't a phase. It's a symptom, a silent scream that she no longer respects you, no longer desires you, no longer expects anything from you. And by accepting it without questioning, you become part of the background. You're there, but no longer alive in her desire. How do you turn this around? Not with begging, not with flowers, not with romantic gestures. You turn it around with masculine power, with presence, with a clear decision to stop begging for what used to be yours. And if she doesn't respond to your energy, your gaze, your direction, then there's nothing left to fight for, because a real man doesn't insist where he's already been erased. The mindset you need to adopt is simple, but painful. If the connection no longer resonates, cut it. If she no longer desires you, don't insist. If her soul has left, don't hold on to her body. Because while you exhaust yourself trying to revive something dead, she's reigniting her fire somewhere else. And if you don't break free now, if you don't decide with conviction, what's coming next isn't more love. It's humiliation. It's dependence. It's the total loss of respect. The way out isn't easy, but it's clear. You have to become the man a woman doesn't dare to ignore. And that starts by looking at the truth without filters. Because if you're living next to a woman who's emotionally gone and you do nothing, then the one who's already dead is you. If you've made it this far, you're no longer the same man who started this video. Because now, you know what most choose to ignore. Because you had the courage to face betrayal without filters. Because you didn't hide behind excuses or try to justify the unjustifiable. Today, you saw what a woman won't confess, but her body has already revealed. And now the choice is yours. Keep tolerating the intolerable, or start walking with dignity. But you can't stay in the middle, because in that emotional limbo, only one thing grows: her contempt. Very few men reach the end of a message like this, because not everyone is ready to wake up, but you are. And if something you heard today resonated with you, shook you, reminded you of a moment, a look, a phrase, then comment below, "I won't be stepped on," and tell me what country you're watching from, because language and culture don't matter. When a man wakes up, the world around him changes. I'm Celia, woman, psychologist, therapist. I've spent over 20 years listening to what wives don't dare say out loud. And this channel, House of Wisdom, exists for that very reason. So you'll never again feel blind, confused, or small in front of a woman who no longer respects you. We're not here to cry. We're here to reclaim the power others made you believe you'd lost. Subscribe if you want to be part of this community of men who've chosen to open their eyes. Men who don't beg, don't plead, and don't settle for being second in their own story. And if you know someone who's still being manipulated, who still believes love means putting up with everything, share this video with him. He might not say it out loud, but he'll thank you. And don't leave just yet. Watch the videos that are about to pop up on your screen. Choose the one that makes you the most uncomfortable. Because right there, where it hurts the most to look, is exactly what you most need to understand.